there's a plan for probe. The proper investigation into that will be done based on what we now have in our hands, the documents we now have. People are going to be asked questions. They have to answer questions, very serious questions with issue of financial profligacy and malfeasance. And the issue of whether harmonized or no harmonized does not arise because Edo Museum of West African Arts is ab initio the property of Edo State government. Edo State government will take full charge of Edo Museum of West African Arts because the taxpayers' money was used to build that particular place, and the donor agencies, the countries that have contributed $1 kobo, $2, $2, $10, up to over $100, will now be asking questions on those who surreptitiously overnight changed the name from Edo Museum of West African Arts to Museum of West African Arts. Where have you spent our money? And this will also involve getting Interpol on board, getting EFCC, getting everybody. They must probe into it. And the governor has initially set up a committee headed by Senator Comrade Adams Oshomole that will preside over the initial backgrounding of this investigation before we hand over properly to EFCC and other, anti-corruption agencies.
Isn't that preemptive, though? Because some people will say that you have already reached a decision. The explanation that they gave was that there are two separate, identities here. You're talking about MOWAA and also the British, the Benin Royal Museum. They are two separate entities that, yes, indeed, they had initially pledged to build the Oba of Benin museum, but that MOWAA came up because the donors had a different idea for what they wanted to do with their money. No,
it's very simplistic. I'm not talking about Benin Royal Museum now. I am talking about Edo Museum of West African Arts, MOWAA, and Museum of West African Arts. You understand?
One has transited to become the other.
MOWAA was predominantly funded by Edo taxpayers' money. Then overnight before they left, that was on the 8th of November, 2024, that's 3 days before they left, they changed that name to MOWAA, Museum of West African Arts. But as smart as they tried to be, they couldn't change the papers.
You say it's funded by Edo taxpayers' money.
Yes.
But they contest that, because if you say that it is the people of Edo who can, then where do we situate the funding?
That is the question that the investigators will be asking. Because I've told you, the submissions from their quantity surveyor of how much it would take to build the entire pavilion was 4.1 billion. It's there in black and white. We have it. We have communications, we have all the memos submitted and this thing. Then Edo, out of that money, paid 3.8 billion. And the tranches are also spelled out. 800 million, 1 billion, 600 million, this, based on the progress of that pavilion.
But it has been built.
It's been built. So it has to be our property.
So what exactly is the bone of contention?
That is the question. We are not contending it. We always say that hand over to Edo State government what belongs to Edo people. Simple. But instead of converting it overnight to yourselves, you appoint your staff from everywhere. How did you choose people who are the trustees? You single-handedly did that without even consulting the state government that funded 95% of that project.